And 2 people were sent to the hospital after a crash in Stark County. Illinois State Police tell us that crash happened at roughly 7:20 Friday night near the Stark County line on IL-17. Troopers say they got a report of a 2-vehicle crash involving one of their squad cars, which they say was standing still. Its driver is one of the 2 people taken to the hospital. We're still waiting to hear on their condition and whether they've been released.